You binged. So now what? I don't know if this has ever happened to you before, but if it has, I hope you'll stick around because that's what we're going to be talking about on this episode of LiveFREE TV. My name is Emilie Quisenberry, and I am a holistic weight loss coach, and I help women learn how to get healthy, fit, and strong in their body, their soul, and their spirit by ditching yo-yo dieting, healing their relationship with food, appreciating their body, and learning how to live lightly and freely in this area. And I'm not just referring to that number on the scale or the size of your jeans. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I put out a new episode and freebie almost every week so that you can take what I'm teaching and integrate it into your life because I want you to have freedom in this area of your life. Before we get started, I want to make sure that you pick up the freebie today, and that is the I Binged, Now What checklist. If you're watching this on my blog, you can simply click on the orange button below the video. If you're on YouTube, there is a link in the description box, or you can simply go to emiliequisenberry.com/19. That's emiliequisenberry.com/19. Okay, let's get into today's content. What to do after a binge. Well, let's start off by defining what a binge is. The dictionary defines a binge as a short period devoted to indulging in an activity to excess, especially drinking alcohol or eating. Like that's the dictionary definition. Now, we use that word to describe watching TV, right? Haven't you heard people say, I binged on Netflix, or I want a binge-worthy show? There's also people who will binge on video games, playing video games, or shopping. We can binge on pretty much anything, but this specific episode is talking about binging on food. So I shared in the post the first two things that you want to do after you have binged. Now, the third thing is really, I believe, the most important and the one that for me has made the most difference. Now, what Carter shared in his Instagram post was step 3 was to put it all behind you and just move on. And while I agree with that in theory, what if you can't just move on? Because I know that was the case for me. It just wasn't that simple because I had a lot of guilt and shame around the fact that I had binged. I just couldn't move on from the suffocating shame that I felt after binging. Because you see, guilt tells you that you've done something wrong or bad, and shame tells you that you are bad. And I would go into a vicious cycle in that I would binge and then I would have those feelings and thoughts and emotions of guilt and shame that said I was bad, I was wrong, there was something wrong with me that would then perpetuate more binging. So it really was this vicious downward spiral. And I couldn't just put it behind me. So if you've ever found yourself in that place, we're going to talk through a few things that you can do starting today to get over a binge. Because in this life, you may get to a point where you never binge again. I may too, but I want to be prepared for what I believe will potentially be an issue the rest of my life as long as I walk this earth. Now, God could completely heal me of that, and I pray that he does. But if he doesn't, I also know that he has equipped me, and I want to equip you with how to handle this. So number 1, you want to confess this to the Lord. If you are a Christ follower, then you want to bring this out into the light. You have an enemy, and that is Satan, and he wants nothing more than to keep you in darkness, and that's where he works best. So if he can keep you internalizing everything, then you're going to stay in that pit. So By confessing it to the Lord, you're bringing it into the light. Number 2, you want to ask him to remind you of how much he loves you and who you are in him, where your true identity is rooted. Because I'm going to tell you, God loves you as much before or after your binge. It doesn't matter. He loves you and he's crazy about you. So ask him to remind you of that. And then number 3 actually might be kind of scary, especially if you have not been open about this struggle with anyone, but it's to confess it to another human. It needs to be somebody that you trust and somebody that is going to love you and absolutely not shame you or condemn you or even try to solve it for you. Somebody that is just going to love you and encourage you and be supportive of you as you process through this. So I really do want you to pick up the I Binge Now What checklist, because I'm actually going to share in that checklist 2 more things that are really important for you to do in addition to the ones I just shared with you. Because I'm going to tell you, it's through the practice of that you're going to begin to get stronger in this area. It's just like lifting weights. The more we practice, the more repetitions that we do, the better we become at it. So this is going to be soul work. It's like a soul workout and a spirit workout. And this cheat sheet, this checklist is going to help you with that. So I want you to work through the checklist. You can pick it up again by clicking on the orange button if you're watching this on my blog, in the link in the description box on YouTube, or by simply going to emiliequisenberry.com/19. Work through it. And if you have questions, reach out. I am here to help you and would love to do that. I would also love to hear any thoughts that you might have about this, so feel free to drop them in the comment section below the video on YouTube, as well as at the bottom of the blog. I do want to thank you for watching. I hope that you have found value in today's episode, and if you have, share it with somebody, because I would imagine this is a struggle for somebody else that you know in your life. Listen, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Be blessed.